Welcome everybody to the Toku Portal podcast for Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger. I am Vashi V, and I'm here with...
Decade.
King?
Right.
And today...
King.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, actually, you can just say what we're talking about.
Okay, we are talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger episode 27.
And before we actually get into that, I'd like to bring something up right away. King. Last week, when we were talking about the next episode preview, you said it looks like this is going to be an episode about the origin of the Indabi. It wasn't.
Well, I couldn't have known that, could I?
I'd say technically it was, because it's revealed that they're literally synthetic life forms. They're created by dark matter.
I didn't really say that's about them though. About their actual origin. That just kind of mentions it.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing, and thank you, Decade, for the point.
She gets a half a point.
I'll take any victory I can.
Okay, so we open up with a recap by Tsurugi. The Oriongo is going through a time hole right now. Then the ship goes on alert. It appears that there are intruders on the ship. The Rangers split up and capture the Indabi that snuck on board. One's helmet falls off and reveals his head. And he pretty much says that they've fought before, but Spada does not remember him. Yeah.
Sorry. A little quick, but I thought that some of the gags are kind of cute. Like Tsurugi said, "Good luck, you guys." And Spada, "You do realize you're coming with us, right?" And something we were saying earlier before the podcast started was it's really shown Spada's evolution in how he interacts with people. Like, he's much more... He's kind of like a teen mom, I guess, but he's much more enforceful. But he's gentle about it. I don't really know how to say it, but it's there. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, Tsurugi was pretty good in this opening spot. Like, oh, you guys are gonna go look for the intruders? Okay, have fun. Dude, you're coming with us. What? What? It's basically how he reacted.
Like, I enjoyed every bit of the start of this. Because, like everybody else said, you get to see how little Suguri really cares for, like, the minor shit going on. Because all he cares about is getting to the past to figure out what happens. So it's like, yeah, have fun. I'll be sitting here waiting. And Spada's basically going, no, I'm not having any of your shit. Let's go. Because we haven't really seen, outside of, the few scenes we've had with Spada being with Suguri and Raptor, there's been a very high level of change in his character. Because up until now, he's only had that one episode where he cooked for the people. That was he really had a focus. So it was nice to see him be, kind of forefront again, and see the evolution of his character, even if it has been kind of overlooked for the most part. Like I said, aside from the scenes where he was with Suguri, because their interactions through those couple of episodes where they were together as a team, he did grow a lot through that, and it was nice that they didn't just up and drop it like they've done with other characters that they started doing it with.
Yeah, it seems like there was a lot more to talk about for this intro than I was giving it credit for. These characters have come a long way. And like you were saying off podcast, like, it's about time that they split up the team so we can actually see how characters get along with each other and how they build with each other. having everyone together all the time kind of just made a mess of things. Splitting this is going to do wonders for the team.
Right, because it lets you focus on characters that aren't normally together on screen a lot. Like, yeah, we get a lot of Champ and Stinger together, but now we can see him interact with um, Spada and Suguri and Garu. So it's nice to see to have that opportunity for doing it, because like you said, it's like with everybody being on screen all the time, it's very very limited interactions outside of the group. We get it, the group works well together for whatever reason, but we're starting to get the fundamentals of why they work so well as a group, because we're seeing their characters interact on a more personal level with the smaller groups.
Yep. So commercial break, and then we come back at the episode title Space 17. Indebi panic on the Oriongo? Question mark. So the Indebi complains to Tsurugi and Spada that basically being an Indebi sucks. And he admits that they snuck on board while everyone was having that barbecue. So I guess the Oriongo landed on Earth, or they flew up. I don't know. I just thought of that. But yeah, and then pretty much more recap clips. Yep, lots of recap clips. And then basically they try to capture more of the Indebi throughout the episode. Sholompo's back goes out. Quite tragic. And yeah, more recap clips. And then at the end we cut to the present team, and basically Hami's pretty depressed about Naga, and Lucky just cheers her up. Well, attempts to. And then that's it for that scene. Thoughts?
Well, I'm obviously going to skip the recap clips, of course, but they actually do bring up some points you don't really think about. Like, when they recapped how all 9 of them came together, Spada was commenting, like, I think it's because we were all drawn to Lucky and his luck that we came together in the first place. And it kind of shows a more subtle way his luck works that they don't really touch on very much. I like that. Cutting back to the present team, I did like. I know we're probably going to get a lot more of them, but that's for another time. But I like that we got to see a little bit of them this week, see how they're doing, and it's definitely a refresher to see Hammy like this, just depressed over what she had done and regretting it, and that's usually a side we don't get to see from her. So I did like that. That was a really good change, and her actress did a good job with the switch. But yeah, I mean, Show having a bad back was a cute running gag, and are we really sure we should let an old man chase them? I mean, I'm asking, but I did have some good laughs out of this, so I liked it.
The recap. So I tried giving the recaps the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they're going to show character development that, you might, even people who have been watching the whole time might not notice, Didn't really do that, though. And with the whole, like, oh, well, maybe it was Lucky's luck that brought us all together. Well, we already saw everything about Lucky interacting with everyone, so I don't really feel like that really applies. Or rather, I don't feel like we really need that pointed out to us.
What about the Naga stuff?
The Naga stuff was a bit of a nice detail. But ultimately just one like hidden gem in an otherwise clip show. Like I feel like that scenes could have still been there.
Like I enjoyed some of the gags they did with the clips, like Suguri, you know, like acting like it was like a fucking just a giant screen that he could push across his, like I enjoyed like the sight gags like that. Show having a bad back was fucking great because it led to some funny ass shit.
I've actually cut out a little bit there. To continue what I was saying a little bit, basically I feel like the Naga thing could have just been in an episode where they're kind of reflecting like, has Naga really not been gaining emotions on his own? And they kind of realize like, no, he just hasn't realized it.
Yeah. And then the fact that I guess it's the insert. I guess it's an insert music. I'm not entirely sure. Decade would be the one to actually know this, but the music didn't start in the episode until Raptor tripped and then stomped on an end beat. I loved it. It was nice to see Hammy have another emotion other than really happy or angry. Her actors handled the regret and depression over what had happened, because she's still being eaten up because of the fact that she still thinks it's her fault and all that she didn't stop Naga. So it was a nice touch. Other than that, clip show.
And the thing is, I thought we were past the era of clip shows. Like, sure, in the past, like pre-internet, yeah, these were really helpful, because you miss an episode, like, you're screwed over. Nowadays, I feel like it's less excusable. I feel like it's just so easy to gain information and catch up on what you miss that, like, we don't need these. We don't need these recaps. The Naga one here is the one that, like, felt necessary, and I feel like they didn't even really do it that much justice, because they could have done a whole thing about, like, oh, Naga has been getting emotions, he just hasn't realized it yet.
I agree. As you know, we're in an era of the internet, DVR, all these technological advances that make it inexcusable to truly miss an episode of something you enjoy. So, literally, unless you started watching KyuuRanger on episode 27 for whatever reason, then you know everything because you were able to download the episode, record it, watch it later. There's truly no excuse for it.
And yeah, there are people out there that are like, they don't have phones, they don't have computers, they wouldn't be able to catch up on this. They are no longer the majority of people, though.
Right. Like, I understood this back when it was necessary and helpful because you missed shit and you weren't able to do it, because back when I grew up watching like Power Rangers, for example, I couldn't watch every episode because I didn't have the internet, so I couldn't go back and watch whatever episodes I missed because I got up too late for school or whatever whenever it got aired. So they were nice to have, because it's, even if you missed a good chunk of it, you still got the clip show that kind of explained what you missed. There's really not that much of a need now, because yeah, there are people who don't have internet or don't have DVR who can literally only watch this on TV, but at the same time, I'm sure they have friends. I mean, that's how I used to watch, to get caught up on stuff when the internet started coming out and actually being able to be a thing, was I'd go over to my friend's house and use his internet to figure out what I missed and all of that. So it is kind of more inexcusable now to have it, outside of if they were going to use that, like King and Bryce said, to expand on showing that Naga had been gaining emotions and whatnot. It's like, but they really didn't. This was literally just hey, let's have a little fun with what's going on now to explain the last 27 episodes, or last 26 episodes, which not a whole entirely hell of a lot actually happened. Unfortunately.
And this, even for like, alright, let's just have a recap episode. This one came super early. You would expect this kind of thing like pre-final arc. Like, okay, we're getting into like the last 5 to 8 episodes here. Let's do a quick recap of all the important events. Fine. Like, we're halfway through the series though. We're not in the final arc yet.
I'll be fine with that as long as they don't do another clip episode. If we just go pure story now, and maybe a filler here and then, I'll be totally fine with them doing this super early. But anyways, moving on. So they finally catch the female Indabi with a... Oh, jeez. Okay, so they're... I shouldn't have thought of this, but if they're an artificial life form, why are there female versions? Anyways,
Why
yeah, they
not?
capture her at the they capture her at the skill Kyutama, and they pretty much go into a recap of all the skill Kyutamas. It's kind of fun, because there are some silly ones. And then, while they have all four of the Indabi captured, they're kind of going over what to do with them. Stinger wants to basically get information from them. Tsurugi's like, just throw them into the time hole. We don't need them. And then an Indabi in red clothes pops up on the screen and basically admits that they were just sabotaging the ship. And then they get thrown out of the time hole into some random place, which I'll go over in the next note. But thoughts?
Okay. I know I'm probably eating my words from last week on this one, but they did say that Akamba did send the 5 of them to sabotage the trip. So, while it's not a lot, yes, it's something. Like, she is trying here to screw with the teams in more ways than one. Like, beyond just what she's done with Naga, she planned ahead a little bit. I like that. And while it may not have been the greatest way to do it, it was a way. And I'm glad they did anything at all. As for the Andromeda Kyutama, we cannot say it's a Kyutama Fest technically unless you count the clips. In that case, they only used one new Kyutama. That's it. So it's not technically a Kyutama Fest again. But yeah, I mean, Tsurugi, like, arguing with the team, I did like that, because he can be a little frustrating sometimes, but it's nice that he has genuine arguments, and they both hold good sides. They're not as cruel as Chakmatter, but at the same time, they don't really need these guys, so why keep them?
So when the red Indabi appears on screen, they all start arguing to each other about, like, it's your fault that they stuck onto the ship because you're eating the barbecue that Spada cooked and stuff like that. And I had to do a double take and rewind to figure out that's what they were arguing about, because I was like, wait, what the hell are they doing? It was just kind of like nonsensical argument in the middle of the bad guy's exposition that's like, yeah, you know what? They don't entirely get along when it comes down to it. Yeah, there's not much else.
Like, I will admit, I did like the fact that not only was Sugiri right, because right before all of this, when they're arguing over what to do with them, he says, well, chuck them out the airlock. And they're like, no, well, we can use them, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you're your naivety is gonna come back to bite you in the ass. Is basically what he says. And literally, as soon as he says it, the red one appears on screen. I'm amazed he didn't just turn around and go, "Look, I told you," because I kind of expected it from him. But the fact that they literally just kind of just up and ignored the red enemy to argue over whose fault it was, I thought was great. Because normally this type of stuff, they let the bad guy just drone on and on and on, and this one they just completely ignored his ass. I thought was great. I do have one question, and I meant to ask it earlier. What type of security system does this fucking ship have?
Security system? What is up with that?
Because apparently anybody can just get on board this damn thing.
Okay,
Well, Tsurugi couldn't.
Yeah.
Because he thinks about it. And to be fair, I mean, no one was on the ship, so no one to guard it.
Shorampo and Balance were on the ship.
Yes, because they were working on the damn portal thing, or on the time Q-Tama.
Okay, I forgot about that, true, but maybe they were too focused on it to pay attention?
Okay.
Balance, maybe.
I'm trying here.
I have a follow-up question. What the fuck is wrong with their security system that it waits until they're in the middle of a fucking time portal to go, oh, by the way, there's extra people on this ship?
Well, maybe it was that, that's when they started messing with the stuff.
Yeah, and they got caught on camera, so they had to run for it and make the cover story.
It was just one of those things that it came to me as we were talking about this. It's like, no, their system sucks.
To be fair, they're kind of going up against 1,000,000,000 odds. They can't exactly afford a high-tech security system. No matter how cool that ship is.
I was just about to say that the rebellion is very underfunded.
See?
They should get Oz's help. I hear he's really good at funding wars.
Oh my
God.
Is it too soon?
That is cruel, right?
But it was just one of those things. I thought about it. It's like, yeah, no, you got a shitty security system, dude. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it was, yeah. I have one comment about where they end up, and so I'll let Decade continue.
Yeah, so basically they get flung out of the time hole, they land up on Earth, and then, yeah, as everyone besides Raptor runs out of the ship, they see a giant T-Rex in the background and kind of freak out about it, but then they just go back to arguing, and the T-Rex just takes off. And, yeah, basically the Indivir just watching them argue and planning to attack them. But then we cut to the present day, and despite Lucky's encouraging words and Naga clips, he's still depressed. Kotaro kind of decides to break the awkward silence, and he brings up the past team. Gato comments that he still doesn't really trust Tsurugi, but then Lucky says he trusts him, and then we get recaps of Tsurugi. Thoughts before we go on?
Okay, I did like the gag where they ended up like prehistoric times. That was so freaking hilarious. Like, Stinger and Champ were so awesome this episode to make show too, but they definitely helped. It's like, oh, this guy must be Donamage. And so he's like, does it look like Donamage? No.
They clearly don't know what he looks like, though. That's why they thought the T-Rex was him.
Well, they don't know about dinosaurs either, so that probably helped towards that. And I did like that they jumped back to the present, and it showed Lucky in a different. Well, it was short, yes. Did anyone else notice the catchphrase wasn't said once this whole episode?
Because he wasn't in the actual fight scene.
True, But even when they showed him, it was only for like 2 scenes max. That's the least he's ever been shown, and the least it's ever been said the catchphrase.
Yeah, and this was still a decent episode despite the clip show part.
Because Lucky wasn't in it.
But it did show that Lucky can actually be calm and reasonable.
Well, that's what we're saying. Like, you don't need to give Lucky so much screen time. That's all it needs.
And it's nice to see him in another mode besides happy-go-lucky. But yeah, I mean, gags were cute. I like that they jump back to the present. And, yeah, I know you guys have something to say about this, so I'm gonna let ya.
Real quick, King, if that was an intended pun, you should feel bad about yourself.
No!
You'll only encourage her, Vashi.
I'm trying to.
Ah, God. What were we talking about here? The ship crashed
They
in
landed
Dinosaur
in the
Area,
past.
yeah. And then Stinger and Champ mistake a T-Rex for Donna Margay. That was a nice gag. That's pretty much all I have to say, though.
So nobody wants to point out before me. Well, I made King stop before she did, but nobody thought that T-Rex looked familiar.
Was it
I don't
like
care
stock
what anybody
footage?
Like
says.
Gabatira.
It was fucking Gabatira.
Ah.
I thought the same thing.
You know, it's kind of like they were, modeled off of a T-Rex.
I don't care. It was Gabatira. He. That's why he was there. He thought it was KyuuRangers coming back in time again.
I was,
He was
honestly
looking-
tempted
He was
to
there
say
looking for
that-
his partner.
I was so tempted to say, go over the hill and see if they're down the cliff.
Like, the Deimos army is just on the other side of that hill.
Why do you think he's stopping?
Like, starting all of KyuuRanger's events.
That would be great.
Oh,
Fucking,
man. Now, that'd make a good crossover.
But yeah, that as soon as it popped over to showing the T-Rex, I'm like, it's fucking Gabatira. Wait, where's King? From KyuuRanger, not the podcast. She's right there. Yes, I'm aware that's a bad joke. Shut up, people. I liked the fact that the arguments continued and all that, and the confusion about Don Amarige. Because yeah, nobody knows what he looks like, and technically neither does fucking Suguri. Technically,
If that flashback is to be believed.
yes, because if the flashback is to believed, he was still cloaked and in shadow the entire fucking time. But yeah, moving on.
Yeah, so the past team, basically, the Endeavy says that Tsurugi's just being dragged down by the other Rangers, and he's like, yeah, you're kind of right, but I need them in my legend, so I'm going to fight with them. And then, yeah, the Endeavy just get mad and decide that they're gonna fight them and win with their superior teamwork. And then they they roll call. Yeah, that's pretty funny. And then at the end of their roll call, they get the classic Ranger smoke bomb explosions, but they actually hurt the Endeavy, and so they get knocked down.
Fucking amateurs.
Yeah, so bad. Can't even handle the smoke bombs.
It's not amateur. It's Akiba Ranger.
Dynaman would be ashamed.
All of the fucking
Don Armage sent the explosions.
well, yeah, but yeah. As soon as I saw that, my only thought was, Akiba Ranger, nice. I've had one too many references to that this series.
Yeah. So then the Rangers decide to just roll call out of suit because they think they're too weak. And at the end of the roll call, Sholumpo's back goes out again, so he totally fails during the posing. Yeah, pretty funny.
On more fights! Yes! I love this. I love the roll call. I don't know if you want to make this joke, but earlier we were saying, like, this is a roll call that's supposed to happen at, like, the end of the show, not mid-show, but I loved it anyway, and, the commander's back going out, and Spada's like, I thought you were supposed to take it easy. And the smoke bomb thing I thought was really cute. It's like tasting your own medicine and kind of payback too for all the recent years who love doing explosions for cool guys. But yeah, it was really funny.
So I just love Tsurugi in this scene. Yeah, I don't even like these chodes, but you know, I need their help. Also, the Indebi roll call just reminds me of TokuRanger versus KyuuRanger, where all the Rangers do their team up roll call, and then the shadow line comes up, and Nero starts to do a roll call for them, and he's the only one that does it, and he just like stands there awkwardly. Oh god, that was one of my favorite moments from that character.
That was the best moment from that character.
Yeah, Nero doing his roll call, the best moment from him. And as we were all saying, yeah, the Indebi, like the explosion, they like freak out. That is very Akiba Ranger. Which, if you don't know, in Akiba Ranger Season 1, when they first do, like, defeat the monster, they turn around, or two of them turn around, red and blue, yellow, and then Blue is like, why you guys turn around? And then the monster blows up, and she, like, jumps, like, 10 feet in the air.
Like, Suguri's thing is, yeah, basically he's like, you know what, fuck these guys, but yeah, they're useful, I guess. Again, it's just an exclamation point on his character. I loved watching the NDB roll call because, like Rai said, it's just a fucking flashback to Nero.
The Black
and I'm all
Baron,
for it.
Nero.
And I'm for anything that reminds me of TokuRanger and fucking KyuuRanger. By all means, just continue to remind me of that shit. I did like seeing the out of suit roll call for the KyuuRangers. That was a nice touch, because typically we don't get that type of fucking roll call until the end. And then Show's back going out was just great. And the fact that nobody broke character when it happened, and Spot is just like, you were told to, take it easy. It's a small moment, but it made me happy.
Yeah, so the attitude fighting, pretty nice. Basically, the Indebi get beaten up and bunched up together. And then, before they do the finisher, Shalompo gets back to the fight, but his back goes out again. So Tsurugi just decides to transform, and then he blows up all the Indebi. Very mercilessly, as Spada points out. And then back on the Oriongo, they're going through the time hole again. And Shalompo is on a stretcher. And then Stinger points out that, yeah, so I guess if Akamba sent them to stop us from going to the past, there really is something there. There really is a secret in the past. So, yeah, that was good. That was a good way to bring us back to the mood of a serious mission. And then, yeah, they just take off further into the hole. Episode end. And we still have the festival ending dance. Fun.
Yeah, the fight was really fun. I liked it, and there are a couple of moments I could find that, yeah, they are stunt doubles. Yeah, but at some points you can really tell it's the actor doing the stunts. So props to them. That was really cool. The final transform at the end, it's like, you know what? Screw this. Get down. I'm ending this. Just like it's nothing, which I guess it was. I thought was absolutely hilarious. Joe on the stretcher was really funny. I'm hoping Tsurugi doesn't take it seriously and become commander in his place, because we do not want him as a commander. Show's bad enough. But it is nice to get a little confirmation, like, why would she send those troops unless there really was something? So, nice to get a little confirmation in there. Like you said, Decade, nice to get back in the mood. And I know the clip show kind of messes with it a little bit, but after all the crap we've been thrown with, honestly, at this point, I'll take a relief and a clip show, since we're probably gonna jump right back into it, but that's for later. But I did have fun.
Tsurugi, like, just getting ready to do his finisher beyond everyone being like, yeah, just get down. Reminds me of early on in X-Aid, where they're all using Dragon Knight Hunter Z together, and X-Aid, like, charges up, like, a fire breath attack, and Kiria turns around, and it's, like, right in his face, and he just drops to the ground to avoid it. As far as clip shows go, I will say this isn't the worst one. Like, there have been some pretty bad ones in the past, particularly in Power Rangers. God. The one in Lost Galaxy is absolutely dreadful. And Operation Overdrive. And hell, even in RPM, it just has a really bad one. This, like, actually had some substance to it. It got over that in, like, almost half the episode, so you know. It didn't spend too much time on it.
Like, for the out of suit fight scene, it was nice to see Garu fighting like Garu, rather than just the like his suit fighting seems a lot more diminished in terms of his more animalistic style of fighting. So I did enjoy that a little bit.
Yeah, Goto wasn't fighting.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of something else that I watched today. My bad.
I was wondering what the hell you're talking
Ignore
about.
that.
I was literally thinking, like, did I miss something in this episode?
This just became the Cho Superhero Tyson podcast, everyone.
Sorry.
Spoilers!
Spoilers. Ignore what I just said. We'll touch on that another time. Damn it.
Like,
I knew that was gonna bite.
like,
I knew
none
that
of
was
us-
gonna bite me in the ass.
None of us were saying anything because we're all, like, going through our minds, like, wait, what the fuck is he going on about?
He saw Tizen before we started the podcast. For those of you who haven't seen it, wait till we do something on that. But
And then hope that the audio actually comes out
ignore
clean.
that.
Yeah, and then ignore what I just said. But not like the out of suit fighting. I enjoyed it. Just yeah. I have nothing else to say about the fight then, other than Suguri's. You know what? Fuck this. Get down. I'm done. That was a nice touch. Was I the only one who, every time they were in the time hole, had the Doctor Who theme going through their head?
I haven't seen Doctor Who.
No, I had it too.
Sorry. Yeah. That was pretty much the only thing that was going through my head every time they were in the time hole. Other than that, a decent episode. I've seen a lot, like I said, there have been a lot worse clip shows. especially in the American versions of Sentai for Power Rangers. At least this one, there was context to it. Like the whole reasoning for the quote unquote clip show part of it initially started out as, "Hey, I was that guy you fought back when this happened," and it was, "Oh right, that's when all this was going on."
Actually, I really like that. This shows us that the grunts aren't just getting killed off; like they actually come back.
Right. I mean, it added to the story, albeit in a way that's strange for that fact. And yeah, it does show that these guys aren't just being killed off like we typically just assume they are with the grunts, because 90% of the grunts through every series are just entirely expendable. Like, we have one that's literally made from coins. So having that aspect of, oh no, these they go about their lives after this, it was a nice touch, I guess. And like I said, it's like it validated the clip show part of it as more of a, oh yeah, you were here when this was going on, so yeah, here's all this information. And I did like the fact that when they were talking about the fucking Q-Tamas, Garu did point out, go, why is that one even a thing?
You mean Champ?
The one that just summons a cup?
No, the one that turned him into a woman.
Oh, right.
Well, I see that one having more use than just summoning a cup.
Well, yes, I completely agree. The cup one is so far the worst Q-Tama that's been used.
I'm surprised.
No drink. No, not even water. Just the cup.
A cup.
I'm surprised you remembered that.
It's
hard to forget that useless of a power.
Yeah, you have to remember the worst ones.
So it was, yeah, for a clip show, it was passable. I give it a pass for being a clip show because they worked it into an actual story.
So it's not a complete failure?
No, not a complete failure.
I will go off on a tangent about some that are worse than this one afterwards.
In terms of clip shows, this one held substance, and it wasn't the entirety of the episode. Like, there are clip shows that literally run from the time the fucking credits start, the opening credits end, to the time the end credits start, and it is nothing but one giant clip show. No storyline, no nothing, just here's everything you've missed. They suck. I loathe clip shows with a passion. At least this was the entire focus of the episode, and seemed to have a legitimate reason for being in existence.
Does anyone else have any final thoughts on this episode before I go off on my tangent?
Nope, that was my...
Really next week?
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
Everybody, enjoy Rise Tangent.
Okay. So, I'm going to go off of 3 that are all from Power Rangers. I mentioned them earlier. First off is from Lost Galaxy. A series that doesn't actually get to the Lost Galaxy until, 40 episodes in. At which point, 5 episodes from the end of the series, they decide, alright, let's do a clip show. How do we do this? Alright, well, let's have 2 characters, red and green, tied to a post on the enemy planet, and, they just need to kill time, so there's remnants about everything that's happened so far. And it's made even worse by the fact that, the previous episode at the very end, the planet disappeared from view, so there's no way they would even be able to get on that fucking planet, because they can't find it anymore. The episode is literally just the 2 of them tied to a post because they got captured, and there's well, let's just talk about everything that's happened to kill time. It is fucking terrible. And then in Operation Overdrive, Two of the characters get stuck in this like landslide or whatever. And to locate them, the other's like, all right, well, we need to get into this computer to turn on the locator. What's the password? The person whose computer this is stuck. And so they just start like, all right, well, maybe there's a clue. Maybe there's something that she connected to that is her password. So you start thinking about everything that's happened so far, trying to figure out like what the password might be. It's not the absolute worst, because you do get a little character development between the two that are stuck together, but it's still really bad. What was the other one that I was going to bring up?
RPM.
Oh, shit, that was RPM. That was RPM that I just went over. Operation Overdrive was, they're all, like, they're treasure hunters, they're all looking for, like, the 5 specific, like, jewels that are magic or whatever. And,
My brain's a DVD player!
there's, like, and it's based off of, KyuuRanger, which had 4 villains, so they have 4 villains, they're all looking for these jewels, so they're like, okay, who has what jewel? Can we just go over that? And there was a stupid plot twist about the Red Ranger being a robot. It's really dumb, so I don't care that I spoiled that. So he's like, well, since I'm a robot, why don't we just tap into my memory banks and go over who has everything that's happened and find out who has what gem? And it's really bad.
Having not seen Operation Overdrive, thank you, King, for explaining that. Because as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, somebody was a robot.
Wait, King, what did you say?
My brain's a DVD player.
Ah. Okay, so Operation Overdrive is abysmally bland, especially compared to KyuuRanger.
It's the one Power Ranger series every fan agrees they despise.
Like, I was legit, like, not even watching it when I was watching it. I was grinding on Pokemon Emerald while just, like, listening to what was going on, and I don't feel like I missed anything. The characters are super one-dimensional. The plot is cut thin. God, it is terrible.
The only good part of that series for me was, and it's really the only episode I've seen aside from when I tried to start watching it, was where they brought back the old Rangers.
Once a Ranger, yeah. That was probably the only good thing that happened in that series.
I mean, it's canonically fucked, but yes, that's the only thing about that series that I enjoyed.
And the worst part is that it's not even so bad, it's, like, laughable. It's just bland. Power Rangers Wild Force is bad to the point where you can laugh at the cheesy dialogue and shit. And then you have the 2 good characters, Gingerx and Toxica, which are the only reason to actually watch that series. And I actually enjoyed those characters. Okay, I think I'm done. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you everybody for joining. We will be back next week for the next episode of KyuuRanger, and we will be back tomorrow for the final episode of Kamen Rider Xaid. See you guys around. Thanks for joining.